is Jessica Matthews, and I'm from Decatur, Alabama.
I'm Mary Mather, and I'm originally from New York.
My name is Flora Thompson, but I have a nickname. I go by Tammy. Many good Southerners have nicknames. I currently live in Mobile, Alabama. I'm originally from Virginia. My family moved to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi when I was 12, and I've lived in this area since that time.
My name is Desmond Bozeman. I'm from Evergreen, Alabama.
I guess technically the South is the southeastern portion of the United States. On a wider scale, I guess I would describe it as having a slower pace of life. The people, I think, are generally friendlier. There's a lot of emphasis on being very relational, being open. It's a cultural norm. Would not be well received if you were closed off or not willing to be open to other people. It's just the way people are, and the way you're expected to behave is to be an open and welcoming, have an open and welcoming attitude.
I would describe the South as a place that is very homey, and the people are very friendly because we're known for Southern hospitality. I think it's a place that's very family oriented from the time you're born till wherever. Here people hold the door open for you. If you have a car problem on the side of the road, anyone will stop and help you whether they know you or not. If you go to a stranger's house, like you know your friend, but you go to their house, their family treats you the same, feed you, offer you drink. Yeah.
I think Southern hospitality to me is people being in general friendly and welcoming and helpful in businesses or offices or on the street. A very strong example of Southern hospitality to me was when we lived in Pensacola, and our neighbors they're from Bay Minette, and they would come over and visit and have our children over and invite us for meals, even invite my parents over when we were like, this feels so good. They treated us like family. The people who we lived across the street from in Pensacola, Dean and Mary Smith, so very sweet people. They welcomed us in the neighborhood. Our children my son was a baby, my older son was a baby, and then I was pregnant with our second son there. And my husband worked second shift or midnight shift, and so they would always check on me, and we were happy to visit. They let the kids play in the yard, invited us to their camp on the river, and took our kids on their boats and things like that. It was really special as they treated us like family. And they really helped us learn culture of the South because there's different words that are used, and Miss Mary was very sweet, but she talked to me, a New Yorker, she talked so slowly. She's like, hello, how are you? And I'd want to interrupt her, and I couldn't because this is how life is, a nice slower paced, which is another advantage of the South.
The South is interesting. It's a lot of heritage here, a lot of rich history, good and bad. The good part is there's a lot of hospitality down here. Everyone is, for the most part, very nice to one another. Respect and honor is very rich. A lot of people have a lot of respect for life, and in this society nowadays, life is almost invaluable to a lot of people. But here in the South, everyone is very concerned about livelihood and making sure everyone can get along with each other in social circles or any type of area or vicinity. If I'm just being introduced to you, I'm always going to be, or someone here is always going to be like, hey, what's your name? Give me a hug. How are you doing? Where are you from? How's your day going? So you'll always experience the feeling of being loved and cared for, even if we're just meeting. Well, although the South is known for its hospitality and love and respect, there is some issues with racism. And it's subtle. I mean, you don't have people hanging from trees or anything like that anymore, but you do have the low-key discrimination. Like, I know I've been followed in the store before. If I'm changing clothes, I would notice like one or two people just kind of watching or standing by, just seeing what I'm doing. Little stuff like, well, it's not little stuff, but things like that is subtle, but it's still very much a huge issue in the South. We've gotten better, but we got a long way to go still.
Some people think it's a white and black thing, and I don't think so. I think that it's not just race problems with white people not liking black people. I think it can also be the other way around. And I do think that it's something that's taught from their parents, because it's just what they've been taught. And I think there's a lot of problems with it, like with the police and even in school, people being treated differently. I don't think it should be even a concern the color someone is for anything, politics or sports or education, anything that happens. I don't see why race has to do anything with it. We like to think that it doesn't exist, but it still does, so we have to make changes.
The race relations in the South are certainly something that we're all sensitive to, and something that certainly needs work. But I don't resent, but it's a little curious to me sometimes when people from other parts of the country don't realize that racial problems are across the board, that it's a problem with our country. It doesn't stop at the Mason-Dixon line, and I think some people think it does. And because of how obvious and how open the racial problems in the South have been, and also the larger population of African Americans in the South as opposed to other parts of the country, in a lot of ways I think we've done more to deal with the problems than some parts of the country who like to pretend that it's not a problem. And not that we fixed everything, not that we don't have a million miles to go, but it's nothing that will ever get swept under the rug here because it's front and center.
I mean, churches are a great example. They call that the most segregated hour of the week. Although I see different churches now trying to welcome and different people from different races, and even having leadership that is very diverse, not just white, not just black, but mixed. It's changing slowly. I think people are more aware, and I think it's important to get to know people who are different than you, just as neighbors, and hang out together and do things together, not just say that.
Always have those pros and cons to every situation. Like, it's not terribly horrible here. Of course, we have our issues, but from what I've experienced, for the most part, we're all loving. Like, it's very family oriented. We want to make sure that the kids are doing well in school, you're staying out of trouble, and it's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and that's how the South really is. Like, everyone kind of pitches in and makes sure that everyone is looking out for everyone. If I see a kid picking on another kid, I don't care if it's my kid or whoever kid it may be, like, I'm going over there and make sure they know not to do this, and this is how you're supposed to treat one another and things like that.
I love the root word hospitality, and I think it's Greek, is phileo xenos, and the actual meaning is love of strangers, people different than you, or even loving your enemy. Wow, that's really powerful.